Hi everybody, happy Monday. Welcome to Blind Woman Reviews. This is where I mainly review fiction, and today I'm very excited for this review, like super excited. You have no idea. I am going to be reviewing Camp by Elsie Rosen. This is a really exciting moment for me just because I'm actually really happy with the fact that I finally got to read this book. I've been meaning to read it for a couple of months, and I finally decided to, you know what, treat myself and get 3 extra credits just so I can get this book and a couple of others, but mainly this book because this book was important to me. So I was really excited because, especially because I read one of his other books and I loved it. And I especially loved that both books were narrated by the same guy, and I'm really excited. Oh my God. Okay. So for you who may not know what Camp is basically about, it's about this kid named Randy. He every summer he goes to this camp. He started going to this camp like maybe 4 years earlier, but basically he goes to this camp, which is basically a queer camp. All the campers are queer or basically in the queer community, which I think is really awesome. And he has a crush on this guy. He has a crush on this guy, and I feel bad that I forgot his name. So, yeah, okay. And he has this plan where he basically changed everything about himself, and is more into what this guy likes. I think his name is Hudson, by the way. I could be wrong. Is his name Hudson? I think his name is Hudson. But basically he changed himself into the ideal guy for this guy he has a crush on. And however, he does get Hudson to fall in love with him. However, now he has to figure out how much he is willing to sacrifice of himself in order to have Hudson, fall in love with him and be his boyfriend or whatever. And it's really interesting. It's a really okay. My thoughts on this book. This book is amazing. I don't know how else to describe it. This book is like amazing. This book is really interesting. I love this book. I think this book deserves, okay, if there is such thing as an Oscars for books, I think this book deserves an Oscar for its amazingness and the themes it discusses, such as masculinity and the queer community. And I'm taking this, by the way, from the description of the book. That was something that was mentioned, that apparently it does discuss, not apparently, but it does discuss masculinity in the queer community. It is a very interesting discussion on that, and it's a very interesting discussion, I think, of community. As a blind person, I find that community is really important to me, especially a community where you are understood and very much given the understanding that you want, as well as the fact that, as well as having a community that knows what you're going through, or at least knows parts of what you're going through, and is able to understand the reasons that you may be the way you are. It's important. Community is a really important thing. It's important to have a community like that, because we never, not everyone is able to understand everything you're going through. I can explain a lot of my issues to a sighted person, but that does not mean that they will understand that the reasons I get upset for certain little things that come up that come up for me as a blind person. I can explain a lot of things but they may not always understand how it goes, and that's understandable. I think that's understandable. There's only so much we can really do over that, and there is very, we can always educate people as best as we can, but that doesn't always mean it'll work out. And the other issue is definitely, although I don't think this book definitely brought it up, but this is something I want to talk about because I'm going to go on a rant here. Society itself puts the burden on other people with that are kind. It feels to me, I could always be wrong, but it feels to me that society seems to put the burden on minorities to educate other people. society itself, rather than taking all the resources that are out there, you know, to actually, you know, for society to actually educate itself. For example, it was very recently brought up to my attention on Twitter, of all places, which actually makes sense since I really like Twitter for this, that society does put the burden on people with disabilities to educate them on everything, yet still ableism remains a thing because they don't always take us seriously. Well, that's the way I took it. Those were not the person's words, just saying, but those are the way I took it. So it's an interesting little discussion. Anyway, rant aside, I do think that the themes explored in this book were very interesting, and that they were explored well for a very short book. It's like a 10-hour audiobook. Yes, guys, that is short for me because I read at 2.5 speed. I can finish it in a day if I so choose. I actually finished it in 2 days. So it takes good care to properly, you know, educate not educate, but like discuss these themes among these characters. And I think it's really important. And I love these characters, their development, the progression of the story is amazing. I think it's a wonderful it's a wonderful it's a wonderful way to, you know, learn about things at times. It's very interesting, the discussion, and I like how it didn't fully end with a very happy ending, but it ended with an ending that seems to make sense and it seems realistic. I feel like these are books that are really worth reading, not just because of representation, but because honestly they're interesting, and it's important to, I think, read books like this. I'm very, very happy I was able to experience this book. I have nothing but praise for this book. I think it was well written. I think I really enjoyed it a lot. It was well written. It definitely had a good story, and I like the theme of how much, you know, you're willing to sacrifice for people, and about the masks that we wear. I think that is also an important theme. Anyway, if you have read Camp, let me know what you think in the comments section. I respond to all my comments, so feel free to, you know, comment. I do respond to everything I see in the comment section, so more likely than not, you'll see a response from me as soon as I can. I'll see you on Friday with another reaction, and if you're interested in my content, feel free to subscribe and like the video if you got any enjoyment or anything out of it at all. And I will see you Friday. And next time for Monday, I'll be doing a recommendations video. So I'll see you soon. Bye.
Voiceover unmuted. You are currently on a button. To click this. Quick time player. Show 689. Stop recording.